welcome back to my channel. I am only just now talking to you and it's 12:30, but that's okay. Also, I'm curious if anybody else cuts their bag of chips when they're getting low, because I can't stand like having to dig through half an empty bag. I'll share them with you, yes. We just got back from a play date with our friends where they had the water inflatable all set up, and that was really fun. I got up early and was working this morning. Careful. I was supposed to be on a podcast this afternoon, which is why I was going to be vlogging today. Are you okay? It got you? Okay. But I actually just got a message from the podcast host that they had a family emergency, so we're gonna have to reschedule, which is totally fine. I had gone ahead and set up to have my niece babysit for this afternoon because of the interview, but I think I'm still gonna keep her because I have a lot of work that needs to get done. I have something in my eye, and I haven't had like good focused work time in a little while, especially now that the kiddo is waking up early. So, and for right now, I'm going to eat a snack of leftover guacamole from Memorial Day and hang out with Wade while he eats his lunch. And you're gonna go take a rest. And then I think I'm gonna eat some lunch, and then I think I'm gonna reorganize my freezer. Tiger. Yeah, but he's gotta stay up here. Remember, he bites. I know this is not revolutionary content, but we have leftover hamburgers. No, these are hot dogs. These are not hamburgers. Leftover hot dogs from the holiday weekend. And if you don't know this, but cooking hot dogs in the air fryer is the best. So you put them in your air fryer, you split them open, you put them at 400 for 6 minutes, take them out, put them in their buns, fill them with any of the hot toppings you want, put the whole thing back in the air fryer at 400 for 2 minutes, and then top it with your cold toppings. It's so good. You know, this can be like a controversial topic or like a heated topic. I'm curious what your hot dog toppings of choice are. Because as a kid, I was kind of a picky eater, definitely not a picky eater as an adult. And I've broadened my horizons, but I was shocked last night to see that my husband is just a ketchup kind of guy. I feel like he probably puts other things on his hot dog if other things are available, but he didn't want any of the toppings I had available last night, which really surprised me because I am a pimento cheese, ketchup, chili, and a relish kind of girl. Oh, I had a hot dog at a baseball game once that I think might have changed my life. Yes, that's dramatic, but it felt dramatic. It really did. I have you with me and my computer at the moment because I am going to pay the vendor fee for my first local event. I think I mentioned to you that I wanted to start making those happen a little bit more. And I had started to do research. I reached out to people. These are big deals to me. Like, I realize that sounds silly. I'm sure other established business owners are like, get with the program. But these are things that I was nervous to do and didn't really know where to start with before I did the ball event that I went to in Michigan. And so I got the bug. I'm excited to do more events. And while I'll do additional like book focused events that are specific for readers and authors, I also just wanted to kind of get niched into my community a little bit here. And so I reached out to a few vendor hosts in and around the area, especially with it being summertime, getting into the fall. I feel like there are so many of those like walk the street food truck vendor events that have all kinds of different people at them. And so I am paying the vendor fee for my very first one here, which will be in July. I will put more information up once I know more of it. But this is an event. Sorry, I'm also looking at a credit card at the same time. So yeah, so this is the kind of event where I will bring all of my own stuff. So I'll be responsible for my own tent, table, setup equipment, etc. Like the vendor fee is literally just reserving my spot in the event. And this one, just for transparency, because these are things that I was curious about when I was kind of navigating into this field. This event was $50 to reserve my spot. The event that I did in Michigan, let me double check. Okay, the book ball that I went to was $100 for the vendor table, and that was an exclusive event, number one, and number two, they provided everything, the tablecloth, the table, chairs, all of that stuff. I just had to bring like my stuff. The event that I'm doing in October, which is a huge event, traveling bookshelf. I think that was $100 as well. Let me see. Oh, no, that was $200. That was a $200 table fee. And that'll be a bit more of an expensive event as well because it's something I'm gonna have to travel to, but it's a little bit easier because for that one, I have a friend who lives not far from the vendor event. And so I'm gonna actually have all of my inventory shipped straight from Amazon, or at that point, if I'm within Ingram's Park, I'll have all my inventory shipped directly to her. And then I will fly to her, meet up with her, and then we'll drive to the event together. It's my cat. Sometimes I can't tell if it's my cat or my kid. But just to kind of give you an idea of like what the range, this spectrum of events could cost, that's what we're looking at. I've got that paid for, which is great. I'm gonna borrow a tent from my sister for the first event. I'm gonna borrow a table from my mom for the first event. This is gonna kind of be like my first pancake, right? We're just gonna see how it goes. Like I said, that one's in July. I think it's 7th, July 7th. And yeah, so for now, I'm gonna eat some lunch. Okay, since my podcast interview is being rescheduled, I'm gonna take some time and kind of plot out, which I don't do. I am not a planner. I'm not really a pantser. I'm somewhere in between, but I think I'm going to map out the rest of this novel, which I'm supposed to technically have done by the end of next week, which is not gonna happen because I haven't written in it in a very long time. I'm not blocked, I'm stalling. And so pretty much what I need and want to do right now, and what I plan to do with the time that I have childcare, is map out, like, you know, you have like a cleaning schedule, and you know, if you do these things on these days at this time, that like eventually the house becomes clean. When I was working on reworking Yeah Maybe. So the story there is I wrote the book right after college, which was 2009, finished it in March of 2010, never did anything else with it. In spring of 2014, I got a wild hair up my ass and decided that I was going to publish the book. And I had a friend encourage me to go through the editing process, at least like copy editing. And while I was going through that process, I read a book that sent me into a tailspin, which was Colleen Hoover's Maybe Someday, or Say It Someday Maybe, it's something like that. And I don't even remember really what the plot of that book was. It was just very well done, and it made me like spiral because I'm like, my book is crap, this is garbage, I can't publish this, which was good. That was an actually like good thing to happen, because then it caused me to take Yeah Maybe apart at the seams and really loop in some like interesting plot elements, which were definitely missing. It was a very elementary book prior to that experience, and I honestly think that's what made that book as good as it is. Not so much didn't really get that same treatment. It did sort of, because half the book was written before I went back to it. I quit writing that book halfway through it, and I don't even remember when that was, why that was, but I did. I quit writing it. And so when I went back to it in 2023, I did kind of have to go back to the beginning and like shift where the beginning of the book was, like what the starting point was, and add in some elements, the traces of like what happened to Lori were not part of the original story. And so I do feel like that's a really important part of, at least for me, like my process. With this book, I really want to get the first draft done so that I have the time and the opportunity to go through it and kind of give it the Yeah Maybe treatment of like, okay, they always say like writing the first draft is telling yourself the story, like it's the only point of it, that there's nothing supposed to be published about a first draft. It's basically just getting the idea down on paper, and then you have something to be able to like rip at its seams and fill in some more interesting details, pull details out that are unnecessary, etc. So I'm going to, what is that? Decision. You don't know, I've been binge watching The Good Doctor per my mom's recommendation. If you have not watched it, I would recommend it. It is very good. That's what was queued up to play apparently when I opened my computer. Also, if you're curious about where I am, I'm in the guest room at my mom's house. My niece lives in the same town as my mom, and I just find it easier to bring my kid here to let them play or like babysit or whatever. And usually I'll go to like a coffee shop or whatever, but today I just kind of felt like being here. Fun fact, my husband and I actually lived in the upstairs in this room actually for a year and a half, 2019, May of 2019 to August of 2020. Yes, we quarantined here. Yes, that was definitely a curveball we did not see coming, but we lived up here for a little while. It didn't look like this. We had our own bed in here. I don't think we had any of our stuff on the walls, But I don't remember this stuff being on the walls either. Maybe I took it down. I don't remember. It's not important. Anyway, I'm gonna, the next hour and a half to like give myself the chance to think a thought. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I just realized that the point I was trying to make evaded me, which happens more than I would like to admit. But what I was trying to say is where I was talking about the cleaning schedule and you have to do certain things on certain days and you'll get where you're trying to go. I basically want to map out what are the things that I need to be doing every day to continue moving forward towards the goals that I have. And the goals that I have are more like long-term sustainable, and it's maintaining a certain type of work for myself. And what does that involve necessarily? And so I kind of want to look at, I know what my job looks like. I know where that fits in now. I've been doing it for long enough at this point that I'm able to identify where the pockets of time are that I kind of loop that into my life. Very grateful for my job because it slips right into my daily life. And that was something I was worried about when the opportunity came to me. I was hesitant because I was like, I don't really want like a day job. I was busy doing what I was doing. And I'm really glad that I took it because it's been really nice to have that stable thing kind of, how do I put this? Like the stable thing supports me in a way that allows me to maintain my creativity without spiraling. But it doesn't take anything away from me as far as like giving too much of myself that I feel depleted, if that makes sense. It's super supportive. I enjoy the people that I work with. I love the work that I'm doing and it just works. And I started in October of last year. And so I would say that I've been kind of getting my feet underneath me for a little while. I've been working on really big projects for them as well. So like trying to figure out where that fits in to my work schedule. But now that I know what that looks like, I would love to know a little bit more in depth, kind of what things I need to be doing at what particular times and how those things fit into my life as far as like this job is concerned. So maybe if I figure out what that looks like, I'll share that with you because I think it would be helpful. I just don't know what it is yet. So if I get there, I'll let you know. You gotta love the random shoe in the background. That's having a golden retriever for you. You'll just have random socks and random shoes and random places. My kid is gonna wake up any minute. My neighbor is also working on something in his driveway, so if it's too loud to hear me, I apologize, but I wanted to be out here just because it's really nice out right now while I end this vlog. So yesterday while I was at my mom's, I did manage to kind of get some clarity on next steps, etc. And I did map out, so I think I was mentioning or talking about like the idea of a cleaning schedule, right? Like how I know any given day what zone of the house I have to work on. Well, I wanted to know kind of like just givens. I wanted to know like what I needed to be working on any particular day when I have these like pockets of time. I've mentioned this whole concept in vlogs in the past where being at home full-time with my son and also working part-time and writing full-time, part-time, doing whatever this online life is, plus the book situation. And sometimes it doesn't feel real to me. Like sometimes that area of my life feels like make-believe, and it's not. And it's also a very necessary part of keeping things moving. And if you know anything about my story, you'll know that like when I lost my job last year, I was the breadwinner of our family and we still rely very heavily on my income. My husband works in education, so like that's a big part of what I do is the whole book side of things. I took the part-time job because I was interested in the work that was being presented, and I don't think that it has affected my ability to work on these things, but I was just, I mean, if we're being honest, I was struggling a little bit to like give myself the permission to treat all of this like it's real, because it's something I want and it's something I enjoy. And for some reason, we're all made to believe that if it's something we enjoy, then it can't possibly be work. But it is still a lot of work. It does still require a lot of dedication and action. And that right there, that word is pretty much what allowed me to kind of like get some clarity yesterday. Is it's just about taking action. And I have these really big ideas of what I want things to look like in 5 years, 10 years, etc. But the only way I get to those places is by taking consistent and digestible and realistic steps right now. And I had to really get clear about what that looked like in this season when things are hard, especially in moments like now where I don't have any help. Like, I don't have consistent childcare. My son will be going to preschool very part-time in the fall, so that will be helpful. But those things really will just look like hitting a certain word count every day, which seems really like a duh kind of situation, and it is, but I haven't been allowing myself to write. I get in these phases where I get scared, and that's just the reality of it. Is I get scared and I stop myself from doing the thing I enjoy the most. So, and it's a very palatable daily goal. It's only 500 words. It's nothing crazy. If I write more, awesome. If I write less, ouch. But the goal will be to hit at least 500 words every single day on manuscript writing. I do a lot of writing outside of manuscript writing, but 500 words a day. I should be posting on my social media channels every single day. That's just the way that it is. And I used to post very consistently on TikTok. I stopped back when the fear got me in, because it was like October of last year. And I was really doing well on TikTok, and then I got scared. So I need to be posting on Instagram and TikTok every single day. And I should also be posting / creating a pin every day, whether that be for a YouTube video or my blog. Really, I should be doing one for each of those things. Those were my kind of consistence, along with like engaging for a certain period of time on social media, intentionally engaging, like not just like mindlessly scrolling, but like being sure. The thing for me, and I've made this extremely clear to like the people inside my life, and I want to make it extremely clear to the people on the other side of the screen, is this for me is not about building a following or getting to certain numbers, which obviously those metrics are important for a number of reasons. For me, I really want to build a community. And I know you hear everybody say that, but it's actually true for me. This is very isolating what I do. Being at that event in Michigan, it became very clear to me that other authors feel a lot the way that I do. I know a lot of other stay-at-home moms feel the way that I do, and I am uniquely both. I am a stay-at-home mom and I'm an indie author, and a lot of that is extremely isolating. And if this space on the internet can be the place that people feel a little less alone, myself included, then that's really what I want. And that for me is why I'm doing this. So having the event in Michigan was really helpful for me to kind of pivot where my focus is, because I've mentioned here before that I don't like marketing online. It's funny, that's what my background is. I can market anybody else online. Marketing myself online is not fun for me. It's really uncomfortable, but I loved doing the event and I would love to do more events, and that can be my marketing strategy. My social media, for me, I would prefer it to be somewhere where I nurture those relationships, where I'm meeting people in real life and then they're finding me online, or we're connecting online and maintaining that relationship there. And so if you're already here, I appreciate you so much, and I'm so glad to have you here. I'd love to start connecting a little bit more, so engaging in conversation in the comments would be great. Maybe, you know what I'd love to do is I'd like to follow you somewhere. Comment below your username, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever channel it is that you have that you maybe show up on the most, or the one that you're trying to grow the most. Comment that down below. I will follow you somewhere, anywhere. And yeah, I again really appreciate you being here. I have a golden retriever right here. You just can barely see him. My table is also filthy because we had a very bad storm. But anyway, that is where I'm going to leave you for today. I've actually been working on my timeline for the book, which has been very clarifying, because there's a lot that's happening in a very short period of time in this manuscript. And so I was trying to and a lot of it is like time sensitive kind of stuff. So I'm like, where am I in this? Where are we on this timeline? So that's what I've been working on this afternoon while Wade's been sleeping. And anyway, I'm like, oh, I'm going to leave you here. And then I break off into a tangent if that's not the most Joey thing / the most Italian thing I've ever done in my entire life, where you're trying to say goodbye to somebody and then like you start having additional conversations. But anyway, I'm appreciative of you. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for being here. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. I post new videos on Mondays and Thursdays, and I will see you guys again.